That's what a hearth sounds like. What is up, Netflix fans, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about the brand new Netflix movie, Walk, Ride, Rodeo. This is going to be a tough one to talk about. I will get into that here in just a second. Thank you guys for joining me. I want you to get down in the comments section. Are you looking forward to a movie like this? Did the trailer throw you off? Did you enjoy it? If you saw it, any of those things, let me know in the comments section down below, and be sure to like this video if you want more Netflix reviews. This is like my 5th Netflix review of the last 7 days. It starts to become tiring, but it is very worth it for you guys. Check out all of the Captain Marvel related videos on my channel right now. Spoiler reviews, MCU countdowns, and my original review. But first, let's talk about Walk, Ride, Rodeo, and let's get into it. So this film tells the incredible true story of Amberly Snyder, a nationally ranked rodeo barrel racer who defies the odds after barely surviving a car accident that leaves her paralyzed from the waist down. Okay, I said this film was going to be tough to talk about. It's a very difficult subject to get around because there are two things that you can do when watching this movie, and this is the case for everyone. You are either going to watch this film, embrace the Lifetime-esque cheesiness, push aside the filmmaking, and focus on the actual story and enjoy it because of that, or you are going to really hate this film because the story is so good and the true story is so interesting, but the fact that it is such a bad movie is really going to bother you and you're going to give it a super low score. I am not in the middle. I'm more towards the negative, but I have to say that I appreciated this film for what it tried to do based on the true story, because it is a very powerful story with a very powerful woman at the helm. When you get to the end of the film, and this isn't a spoiler, it starts to tell you all of the true things that actually happen and show some footage, as most true stories do. It kind of reminds me of the film that came out last year, and I actually like this movie a little bit better than that, the 1517 to Paris, how it told an amazing true story about heroes, men who went and did awesome things, but the movie itself, directed by Clint Eastwood, was really bad. One, because they got the actual people to do it, so the acting wasn't very good, but I thought Eastwood's directing and the writing was just not good. Now, this film is not directed by Clint Eastwood, so I can't hold it to those standards. That's why I'm going to give it a bit of a higher score, but it's also a movie that was very poorly directed. The acting was not very good at times. At times, it was okay, and I'll get into that, but this is just one of those movies. It's very hard to review because, one, people are going to get mad at me because they're either emotionally manipulated by the film because the story is so emotional and beautiful. The story itself is beautiful. It's not beautifully told, but I loved hearing and seeing what actually happened. Those people are going to get upset with me because they're going to say, what movie did you watch? I enjoyed it. I thought the story was nice. It was sad. All of those things are true. This story is sad, and it's awesome to see what she does to overcome these obstacles in life, and I loved it because of that. But all of these other aspects that I have to factor in as a guy who sees 3 or 4 movies a week and has to review them almost on a daily basis, I see a lot of films, and when you see something with filmmaking, cinematography, editing, shot selection that is this poor, and then you throw in kind of a bad script, kind of bad acting, and I will explain all of that here in just a second, I have to judge it accordingly, and I cannot tell you guys that this is a good movie. Now, should I have anticipated this to be a great film? Because I saw the trailer and I saw Lifetime, that kind of movie, that style written all over it. So maybe it's not fair for me to judge it too harshly, and honestly, I'm not going to because of that. It is unfair for me to put this film in a category like the 1517 to Paris because that was a theatrically released movie directed by Clint Eastwood, and it was crap, honestly. Now, this is a film directed by Connor Allen and starring Spencer Locke. So my standards should not be that high, but I'm going to tell you guys why I do believe this thing was so poorly executed, and that all kind of starts with the script and where it goes and how they go about telling the story. The beginning got off on such a sour note for me because it's showing her riding the horse, and the filmmaking is just atrocious. The transitions from her riding her horse to other scenes and back, and the fades, and I'm like, oh, what is this, like a fan film? This looks so bad. But calm down, Austin. They're going to tell a nice story. The story itself, like I said, is really good, but then you start to get into the conversations with her and her parents, and the line delivery is bad. The dialogue is really rough. It all feels so unnatural. It feels staged. The entire movie, I can tell it's actors. It does not feel real, and it really started to upset me because I'm like, I like this girl. This girl is cool. I really don't mind her or her mother as an actress. I thought there were scenes in this film where her mother is great. When they first find out what happens, and it's not a spoiler, it's in the summary, she broke down emotionally, and it kind of started to get to me. I'm like, daggone it, she's really good in this scene, and the emotional aspects are really starting to affect me. But then I think about how poorly executed the actual car crash was. It looked awful. And it does the thing that bothered me at the beginning of the movie. It starts fading back to her riding her horse in the car, and then her riding her horse. I'm like, why are you doing that? It's really choppy. But then it would go from that to playing like Rascal Flatts music that just does not fit in a film like this. The music, the score, the soundtrack, it was all terrible. But it was all something that I also expected because of the Lifetime nature. Listen, if you want to watch an emotional true story and you're in the mood for a made-for-TV film, then I actually would recommend Walk, Ride, Rodeo. You don't have to pay attention, you're just in it for the story, and that was the reason that I stuck around and finished it all the way until the end, because I wanted to see what happened to this girl. My biggest issue with the film, and I will leave you with this because I'm sure I'm getting yelled at, is the passage of time and how we did not have enough time to believe that her character and the people around her were learning and growing as people, because something would happen, she would go through therapy or somebody would have a conversation with her, and I'm like, yes, we are building character, and then immediately 4 weeks later, 6 weeks later, it does that I believe 2 or 3 times throughout the entire movie, and they pass through so many important elements of this story, and they expect us to believe that she's learned so much in a matter of 5 seconds. It doesn't even feel like a movie at times. It just feels like a highlight reel of this girl's experience. They skip so much time, and I never had a chance. Even though some of the performances were good and I felt the emotion from certain characters, I never had a chance to care why she was doing what she was doing or believe her when she is actually giving someone else advice about halfway through the film that shares a similar experience. I didn't get a chance to see how she grew as a person, so why do you expect me to care that she's telling this other person this when I still believe 10 seconds ago she didn't believe in herself? Just because it says 4 weeks later doesn't mean that I have to think that she grew in all of this time. I didn't see it, and because I didn't see it, I didn't care. And I do think the filmmakers were passionate about getting this story out there, and I think the girl in real life is a hero. She is the definition of a hero, but as a movie, the shell around the story, I have to judge it accordingly. So I'm not going to go too low as I did a movie like Juanita. I'm going to give this a 44%, and I will put an asterisk saying, if you want to see a film like this, and you know what you're in for, you know it's going to be cheesy and slightly unrelatable and semi-bad acting, then I'm not going to say stray away from this film. It's a very hard one to judge, but it's one I tried my best to do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Walk, Ride, Rodeo is on Netflix right now. You can check it out. Be sure to get down in the comments below and let me know, am I right, am I wrong? You guys are the absolute best as always. I do this because I love it, and I'm going to continue to do it. I will catch you guys very soon with another Netflix review.